everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Madeline and this is Novel Inc. And today we are going to be talking about my most anticipated releases of the first quarter of 2019. As I'm sure a lot of you probably know, 2019 is going to be an amazing year for books, and I decided that this year I would split my anticipated releases up by quarter. So every 3 months you'll get another one of these videos from me. Today I'm going to be talking about the first quarter of the year, of course. So I'll be talking about books that are releasing between January and March of 2019. So I have, I think, 23 books to tell you about today just for this quarter alone. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go in order of publication date. So I'm filming this a little bit late, and the first two books I have to talk to you about are books that have both already come out. And the first of those is The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the sequel to The Cruel Prince, and this came out January 8th. I read this over the summer. I read it quite a while ago. It was a wild ride, and I can't wait for everyone else to read it so that we can all like scream together, because the ending will probably leave you shook. Also out on January 8th was In an Absent Dream by Seanan McGuire. This is the fourth book in the Wayward Children series. This is a series of companion novels, but I do think that they work best if you read them in order of publication. And I have this on hold at the library. I'm so excited. I know that it follows the character Lundy, who is a character we know from previous installments in this series, and I believe it deals with a goblin market, and I've heard that this is a lot of people's favorite in the series so far, so I'm super excited to go to the library and pick up my hold of this one. Then coming out on January 15th, I have Firestarter by Tara Sim. This is the third book in the Timekeeper series. I believe this is a trilogy, so I think that this is going to be the conclusion to that series. And the Timekeeper series is one that I feel like I don't talk about often enough on my channel, but it's kind of an underrated series that I have really enjoyed. It's kind of a historical steampunk series with like fantasy elements. The first book, of course, is called Timekeeper. The second book is called Chainbreaker, and that one came out last year. And I've just loved the first two installments, and I'm really curious to see how it wraps up in this third volume. Also out on January 15th is The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi. I'm so excited for this. I have heard it pitched as like a more diverse version of Six of Crows, and it's set in France in the 1800s, and it's a heist story, and we have Roshni Chokshi's beautiful, gorgeous writing, and I just can't wait for this. I actually already have this pre-ordered because I am attending a book event with Roshni Chokshi here in Atlanta, so super excited to get to this one. Then on January 22nd we have The Vanishing STAIR by Maureen Johnson. This is the second book in the Truly Devious series. It's going to be a trilogy, so this is the second of 3, and I loved Truly Devious when I read it. I read an arc of it last year, and I thought it was so fun. I have been a fan of Maureen Johnson's for years and years. She's kind of one of the OG YA writers. I've read everything that she's written, and I think the Truly Devious series is just a really fun YA mystery, and it's one of the few series that I find myself like wanting to pick up the next volume, so that's definitely something it has going for it. I am very intrigued to see where the mystery goes in this next story, especially with the ending of Truly Devious. Then we have a couple of really exciting releases coming on January 29th. The first of those is one that I have already read, and that is Death Prefers Blondes by Caleb Rarig. This is a heist story, and all of the protagonists are drag queens, so it's about this crew of drag queens who perform heists all over LA, and oh my gosh, it was so fun. All the action scenes are really well written, but I myself am more of a character driven reader, and like, although I loved the action scenes, I thought they were extremely well written and well described. I really loved the characters in this one, and they were what kept me reading. I loved the portrayal of drag and of queer communities, and I love that even our main female protagonist, Margot, is queer. She's bisexual, and that is stated explicitly on the page. I just adored this, and it's kind of long, but it still felt like it flew by because I was having so much fun reading it, and I just can't wait for this one to come out. Also on January 29th, we have The Love and Lies of Roxana Ali by Sabina Khan. I know that this is a female-female romance about a Muslim teen girl. Her parents find out that she is dating a girl, and I think the story takes off from there. I'm kind of scared that this book is gonna break my heart, but I'm also really excited to read it. Of course, one of, I think, everyone's most anticipated books of 2019, also coming out on January 29th, it is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is gonna be the first in a new spin-off series in the Grisha universe following Nikolai Lansov. King of my heart. I can't wait for this series. I'm currently rereading the Grisha trilogy, and I'm gonna reread the Six of Crows duology next. So I'm like really in this world right now. The TV show news was just announced yesterday, so I'm like very immersed in this whole situation right now, and I cannot wait for this series. because I love Nikolai, who doesn't. And also my queen Nina gets a perspective in this series. She's a POV character. I cannot wait. I'm also attending a book event for this, so if you're gonna be at the King of Scars tour here in Atlanta on February 2nd, come say hi because I would love to hang out with some fellow friends. Okay, on to February. The first book I have for February comes out on the 5th, and it is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This is the very eagerly anticipated follow-up from Angie Thomas after the success of The Hate You Give. Not much is known about this book because arcs weren't very widely circulated, I don't think, but I know that it follows a protagonist who is a rapper. Of course, the protagonist is Black, so that is Own Voices representation, and once again, I have tickets to a book event for this book as well. So if you're coming to any of these book events in the Atlanta area, I will see you there. Also coming out February 5th is Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. My dear friend Melanie from Mel to the Any sent me an arc of this for Christmas this year, and I was shook because I have been so looking forward to this book. This has kind of been buzzed about as like one of the books of 2019. It is a fantasy heavily inspired by African mythology and history, and it just sounds so unique, and also this cover is so beautiful. Again, I don't know much about this except that everyone I know who has read it absolutely loves it, and it's Marlon James, who also wrote A Brief History of 7 Killings, which I read when it came out and is one of the best books I've ever read. So I can't wait for this. It's very long, and I don't normally read a ton of fantasy, so I'm a little bit scared, but I'm really excited also. I'm hoping to pick this up very soon. Then on February 19th, we have another book coming out that I have already read and really enjoyed, and that is The Art of Losing by Lizzie Mason. This follows our protagonist Harley after she catches her boyfriend cheating on her with her younger sister. And shortly after she catches the two of them together, her little sister decides to ride home with Harley's drunk boyfriend, and they end up getting in a car crash, and it lands her sister in a coma. So this deals heavily with themes of grief and substance abuse, and it's just a really beautiful portrayal of like relationships of all kinds, because we have that sibling relationship, we have like romantic relationships and family relationships. It's just so good, and I highly recommend picking this up when it comes out. Then on February 26th, we have We Set the Dark on Fire by Taylor Kate Mejia. Again, I've already read this. I absolutely loved it. This is kind of a dystopia, I guess I would say, but it's not a dystopia in the vein of like The Hunger Games. It's more of a dystopia in the vein of like The Handmaid's Tale. It's set in this society where women are raised to fulfill one of two roles. Basically, every influential man in the society has 2 wives, and each of these wives has like different roles that they play in like running the household and like running the family and stuff. And this is heavily inspired by Mexican culture, and those influences are very obvious. It's also very timely, like it deals with topics like illegal immigration and obviously like rampant heteronormativity and misogyny, and it contains a female-female romance, and almost all of the characters in this story, I'm saying almost all, but I think it's all of them, are Latinx. So this is so good. Female-female romance, Latinx characters, and just a really well thought out, well developed world. It's the first in a duology, and I cannot wait for more people to read it. Next we come to March 5th, and there are days in every year of book publishing that just contain like every single book release you've ever wanted to read, all releasing that same day. And I feel like for 2019, March 5th is one of those days. So I have quite a few books coming out on this particular date to talk to you about. The first of those is You Asked for Perfect by Laura Silverman, which again, I've read. I actually just finished this like a week ago, and I really enjoyed it. Well, enjoy isn't the right word, because it really stressed me out to read this book, because it's about kind of an overachieving high school student who's kind of starting to crack under all the pressure of senior year of high school and the pressure to be perfect. So it was a very stressful reading experience for me, because even though high school has been over for quite a while for me, it brought back all of the worst parts of high school in a very visceral, real way. But we get a really cute male-male romance in here. We get some Own Voices Jewish rep, because Laura Silverman, the author, is Jewish, and it's set in the suburbs of Atlanta, which I always love. So I also cannot wait for this one to be out. Next I have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the eagerly anticipated follow-up to Taylor Jenkins Reid's most recent work, and I would venture to guess her most popular work, at least on BookTube, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Daisy Jones and the Six, I believe, chronicles the dissolution of like a famous rock band in the 1970s, and it's supposed to be heavily inspired by the whole Fleetwood Mac situation. I have an arc of this and I'm planning on reading it this month. I've heard kind of mixed things from my friends who've read it so far, but I for one am very intrigued by this one. This is a premise that really grabs me and I can't wait to read it. Also coming out on March 5th, I have Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy. These two authors are actually dating or married, I don't know which, but they are a couple. Basically, Once and Future is a queer retelling of the Arthur legend, but set in space. So I'm so ready. I hear this is like extremely gay and I can't wait. And another March 5th release I'm very excited about is A Question of Holmes by Brittany Cavallaro. This is going to be the fourth and I believe final book in the Charlotte Holmes series. The first book being A Study in Charlotte, and although I wouldn't consider this like one of my all-time favorite series, it's one of those series that I read every new release like as soon as it comes out because I'm like still really invested in it and I have a lot of fun reading it. I think what makes this series for me is the characters. I can't wait to see how it wraps up because this was originally supposed to be a trilogy, but then Brittany Cavallaro announced that there was going to be another book and I'm very excited to see where the story goes from here. The last March 5th release I have to talk to you about is Real Queer America by Samantha Allen. This is nonfiction and it's a collection of stories about queer people living in red states. And the author herself is a trans woman. I just can't wait for this. It sounds like everything that I love. You guys know I love nonfiction. You guys know I love all the queer shit. And also I am a queer person living in a very red state. So this sounds right up my alley and I want it in my hands now. Then on March 6th, I know that like comic and graphic novel release dates are kind of weird. I'm still not entirely sure how they work, but the release date for this on Goodreads is March 6th, and that is The Steel Prince by V.E. Schwab and Andrea Olimpieri. This is volume 1 in the spin-off graphic novel series about the A Darker Shade of Magic world. This follows King Maxim, so Rise, father. I have a couple friends who have been reading the single issues as they've been coming out and they say that it's a really great series. I've just been waiting for volume 1 to come out to start the series, but I am very highly anticipating this because the Shades of Magic series is one of my very favorites. Then on March 7th, I have The Truth About Keeping Secrets by Savannah Brown. Now, I should say this is a UK release date. I don't think the rights for this book have been sold in the US, but I could be wrong on that. It's being published by Penguin in the UK, and I'll be ordering it on Book Depository so that I can still get it here in the US. Savannah Brown is a YouTuber who I've been following for a really long time. She's actually American, but has been living in London for the past couple of years, and this is her debut novel, and she's my age, I'm pretty sure. So I'm really interested to read, I've read some of her poetry before, but I'm really interested to read her writing in like novel form. This apparently has a mystery element to it as well, and it's set in a small town in Ohio. Everything about this premise really appeals to me, and I can't wait to have it in my hands. Then on March 12th, I have When the Sky Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry. I really don't know much about this. I actually just found out about the existence of this book recently, but I love Emily Henry's writing. I loved A Million Junes when I read it, and I just have been itching to read more of her writing. Pretty sure that this book involves aliens in some way, like maybe aliens coming to our world. I don't know, but like I said, it contains Emily Henry's writing and therefore I'm excited about it. Also on March 12th, we have Meet Me in Outer Space by Melinda Grace. I don't really know too much about this one except that the protagonist has a learning disability and it's a young adult book that's set in college, which I'm always looking to read more of. Finally, the last book on my list of anticipated releases for the first quarter of the year is one of my most anticipated for this quarter actually, and it is Night Music by Jen Marie Thorne. So I read The Wrong Side of Right by Jen Marie Thorne probably my freshman year of college, a really long time ago, and I really loved it, but I haven't read any of her writing since. But Night Music, this book was like made for me. It's about teenagers who are classical musicians spending a summer in New York City doing like a classical music program, and I'm so excited about it. Classical musicians, it's written by Jen Marie Thorne, it's a YA contemporary, it's set in New York City over the course of a summer. Like, sign me up, I'm ready. With that, we have made it to the end of this list of my most anticipated releases for the first quarter of 2019. Again, you can look forward to these videos from me every 3 months, every quarter. I would love to know if you all are excited about any of these as well, and also if I missed any releases that you're really excited about that were not included in this video. I would love to know that as well, because I'm always growing my Goodreads TBR. I think my 2019 shelf currently has like 85 books on it, but there's always room for more, folks. Anyway, as always, all my social media links will be down below so that we can be friends. If you like this video, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on new videos from me. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you soon in another one. Bye.